Hello everyone. Shall I start? Okay. Thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Bijaylaxmi, consultant in pediatrics and neonatology department in Motherhood Chaitanya Hospital, Chandigarh branch. I've completed my MD Pediatrics from PGI Chandigarh, fellowship in neonatology from Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi, DM in neonatology from Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi, and currently working as a consultant for last 3.5 years in this hospital. So today's topic of discussion is introduction of solid foods in your child. So what is the meaning of that? That means introduction of complementary feeds to your child. So what is feeding? It is basically a bridge between the transition of liquid diet to solid diet. So it will basically empower your baby to the family pod feeding. Now, why complementary feeding is required? It is required because whenever we transition our children, when they have reached 6 months of completed age, from either breastfeeding or formula feeding to the family pot or the homemade food, it is required to basically cover up the energy gap which is created after 6 months of age. Now here comes the importance of 1000 power days. Now what is the meaning of this 1000 days? It consists of 3 parts: 270 days of the pregnancy, 365 days of first year of life, and 365 days of second year of life. So in pregnancy, if a mother, a pregnant lady, is not given adequate nutrition, then what happens? The child, that is the fetus inside your body, inside your womb, is deprived of nutrition. It might lead to preterm delivery, small gestational age babies, low birth weight babies. Now, when these babies come out of your womb, in the extrauterine life, that is after birth, they suffer from growth retardation, developmental delay in the brain development, then defective immune system. They are not able to cope up with infections, etc. Similarly, if they are not given proper nutrition and proper transition is not given in the first year of life, followed by in the second year of life, they will suffer from low IQ, poor school performances, poor immunity, recurrent hospitalizations, like this. Now, so here comes, it is basically a crucial window of opportunity to provide a wholesome growth and development to your baby. Now, a little bit regarding the statistics of India. So in order to provide adequate growth and development, apart from the intrauterine life, the most important part, that is after birth, it starts. So early initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour of life is very crucial. The percentage according to the recent statistics of India, it is hardly 42 to 43%. Exclusively breastfeeding your child till 6 months of age, which is around 53%. Starting adequate complementary feed within 6 to 8 months of age, which is again 42 to 44%. And from 6 months to 2 years of age, your babies should be getting breastfeed plus adequate complementary feeding. And the percentage is very low, it is around 8 to 9%. Because of inadequate and improper feeding of your children, they are going to suffer from malnutrition, like wasting, stunting, and severely stunted babies. Some might also undergo obesity. So that means either the weight is not appropriate for the age, or the length or height are not appropriate for the age. So in order to tackle this, so Government of India, that is according to recent national guidelines, infant and young child feeding scheme has been established in order to feed less than 2 years of children. And the optimal parameters for these are: first is early initiation of breastfeeding, which we have discussed, exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months of age, followed by adequate introduction of complementary feed. So now we are going to have a vivid description and discussion on this complementary feed, that is the solid food which you are going to introduce to your children. So what is complementary feed? We have discussed. Now what is the adequate timing of complementary feed? So it is at the completion of 6 months of age. Now why is it so? It is because till 6 months of age, whether your baby is getting exclusively breastfed or your child is getting formula feed, it provides adequate calorie, that is around 500 to 600 calories till 6 months of age. And from 6 months to 9 months of age, if your child is only fed on breast milk or on formula milk, then your child will suffer from calorie deficit of around 250 calories. Same will happen, suppose your child is around 9 months to 12 months of age. You are only giving milk feed without introduction of any homemade complementary feed. Then the deficit increases to 450 calories. And beyond 12 months, that is between 12 months to 2 years, the deficit again increases over 750 calories. So because of this, apart from energy, that is a calorie deficit, the growth and development will hamper. Same will happen with other micronutrients also. They will suffer from immunity delay, they will suffer from anemia and other complications. This is one reason that at the end of 6 months of age, you will be starting your complementary feed. The second reason is that why at 6 months, why not at 4 months, why not at 8 months? Because at 6 months of age, your child is development. The developmental milestones support this complementary feeding. The hand-to-mouth coordination is well developed. The chewing movements have been developed. Their teeth are going to appear between 6 to 8 months of age. Another reflex, which is the thirsting reflex. Like if you have noticed that your children who are less than 6 months of age, any solid food which you will be trying, they will be pushing out. But this reflex gradually decreases, and any solid food you are going to introduce after the age of 6 months, they will start swallowing. So because of the age appropriateness, 6 months is appropriate of starting complementary feed. Plus, in order to decrease the energy gap, adequate feed should be started. Now, this is the timing. Next, coming to the topic, what is adequate complementary feed? Adequate complementary feed based on quality and based on quantity. And what food should be given? So basically, first thing is a variety of complementary food items should be introduced. Staple food like cereals, जो भी आप खाते हैं, rice, wheat, etc. Legumes like pulses, all the dal, everything you can introduce. You can introduce green leafy vegetables and fruits that are locally available and seasonal food, so that they can provide adequate micronutrients, iron. If you are a non-vegetarian, then you can introduce animal proteins like eggs, fish, chicken, so that they can get adequate essential proteins, calcium and vitamin A that is available there. Now, this is the variety of proteins, variety of food that you can give. And the food should be such that that is easily available and easily able to be prepared. It is easily digestible by your children, and it should be easily made, and in a hygienic technique it should be prepared. Now, coming to the introduction, how to introduce, what should be the first food that should be given to your 6 months old baby, like between 6 months to 8 months of age. The first food that should be given is a porridge, that is in the pureed form. Now, how to prepare it? For example, suji, semolina, what we say, and broken wheat, which is dalia, rice powder, bajra powder, all the sorts of millet, rye, which are you can cook it with milk. You can add jaggery to add to that. You can increase the calorie content by adding ghee to that. This is the first food, that is the pureed form. And after the pureed form, you can introduce the next food, which is the mixed form. Which is the mixed form of the food is actually mixing cereals, legumes with vegetables, like जिसको हम बोलते हैं खिचड़ी. So खिचड़ी में you can use rice, you can add pulses, that is dal, then you can add ghee to it, and all the available vegetables that are there at your home. Just mix it, overcook it, make it in a pureed form, and you can use it. The third food that we can introduce to your children is the modified family food. What is modified family food? The same food which is getting prepared for you. You can just take it out in a separate container without adding spices to it, overcook it, make it in a paste form, like in a pureed form, and you can use it. You can use curd, you can use cheese, you can make custard for. Next food is instant infant foods. Now, the first thing which comes in your mind from this instant infant food is Cerelac. So these are the foods that are available in the market. But at home, also you can prepare it. Like all the cereals that are available, wheat, barley, rye, millets, bajra, then legumes like all types of dal, or chana dal, moong dal, all the types of dals that are available. Just dry roast them, make it in the powder form separately, and pack it in airtight containers and label it. These things you can use for at least 1 to 2 weeks. Now, how to cook it? Whenever it is a time to feed, just take 2 spoons of cereal, 2 spoons of legumes, and you cook it with milk, add jaggery to it, and you can use this as an instant infant formula. The next group of food are the protective food. The protective food are the fruits and vegetables that are available locally under seasonal food. So you, as we have already discussed, you can add to khichdi and make it a khichdi in a paste form and you can use it. Next thing is all the fruits that are available like banana, apple, mango, chiku, papaya, all these things you can make in a puree form. You can add it with milk. You can again add jaggery and you can make it a paste and you can start feeding your child. Now these are the variety of foods that we can use. Now next thing is coming to the quantity. So within 6 to 8 months of age, now suppose you are starting to feed your child. First thing is you should start with one type of food. Suppose you have made dalia. So you start with 1 to 2 spoons each time, 2 to 3 times a day. And the same thing, the same taste of the same kind of food you need to give your child for minimum 3 to 5 days. And if the child accepts it, try to increase the quantity, like initially 1 to 2 spoons each time for 3 to 5 days. You can later increase to 4 to 5 spoons. And by the end of 15 days, be at least half katuri that is available, right? And by the end of 1 month, at least minimum, that is between 6 to 8 months when you have started your complementary feed, by the end of 8 months, the child should be able to accept 3/4 of the katuri. And from 9 to 11 months, at least full katuri 3 times a day, and in between 2 snacks of any fruit that we have already discussed, right? And beyond 12 to 24 months, same 3 to 4 bowls full of the diet that you have made, and you can add 2 to 3 snacks in between. This is the quantity, the type of food, the variety of food we have discussed. Now, I just wanted to add another thing, that what should be the texture? What should be the texture of the food that you are going to give? So between 6 to 8 months of age, the texture should be completely pureed form, right? Completely pureed pastry form. Amount you can increase gradually. From 9 to 11 months, you can make the texture little bit rough, lumpy, mushy texture that you can use. And by the end of 10 months, you should start introducing finger food, that is boiled potato wedges, boiled cauliflower, boiled carrot, and boiled broccoli. All these things you can start because they are chewing, the teeth have already appeared, the mashing and chewing activity have started between the hard palate and the tongue, and the thirsting effect, the reflex have still vanished. And these are the texture and the quantity of food we have described. The next most important thing is what foods should be avoided. So we should avoid giving chunks of food. That is, chunks of small chunks of food that we can give is beyond 12 months of age. So between 6 to 12 months of age, you should not give any nuts to them. You can make nuts powdered form, peanuts or almond or cashew. You can make them in powdered form, and you can add to each and every food that you are giving. But never you should give in chunks form. Neither any vegetable or salad or fruit should be given in chunk form. You should not give tea, coffee, any aerated drinks, fruit juices. If you're giving fruit juices, do not strain them. So these things it should not be given to your child. Another thing is, do not add sugar to any of your food. You should add jaggery instead, because it is a very rich source of iron for your baby. You should add ghee and oil to make it calorie dense. So the basic theory of feeding a baby is the baby should be given adequate calorie, protein, and micronutrients. It should be given in small, frequent feeds. So, how to make your food calorie dense? First thing is the initial 2 months when you are giving pureed form, it should not be very thin. It should be thick in consistency but pureed form. Second is you can add ghee to them. Third is you can add jaggery to them. Another most important thing, the cereals and pulses which you are having, you can soak them. Germination जिसको बोलते हैं, you can germinate them. After germination is complete, you make them dry. आप उसको सुखा दीजिए, let them dry. After drying, then you make them in powdered form and store them. These are the malted varieties of cereals and pulses. They are very rich in protein, they are very calorie dense, and they are easily digestible by your children, right? So adequacy, now how to start the feed. Now we have discussed at what time we have to start, what should be the quantity, what variety, how to prepare the food. You will have to prepare the food in a very hygienic way, like your hands should be clean, your utensils should be clean, your raw materials, your raw vegetables and fruit should be adequately washed, your water should be sterile, and you should be, after cooking, after feeding your child, everything should be in a hygienic way, and you should be storing. Now next comes the storage. Suppose you have prepared a food. You can maximum store in the room temperature up to 4 to 6 hours. If you're saving or storing in the fridge, it is maximum up to 12 to 24 hours. Beyond that, you will have to discard it. Never feed the child the leftovers of more than 12 to 24 hours. So it should be prepared in a safe and hygienic way. The next thing is how, suppose today you have decided, now my child has completed 6 months of age. Now I'm going to start to feed. So what are the appropriate techniques of feeding your child? So first thing is it should be responsive feeding. Your child should be in a happy mood. You should not be in a hurry. It takes a lot of patience to introduce complementary feed and to carry on for 6 months, like from 6 months to 12 months and later till 24 months, because this is a very crucial phase. If you are introducing the food and you are experimenting with different kinds of food and taste, then only the child will learn to accept food of different varieties. Otherwise, like we have already experienced that in our OPD, lot of children, they come, lot of parents, they are saying that our children are very fussy. They are accepting feed, ये नहीं खाता, वो नहीं खाता, कभी रोटी चावल नहीं खाता, सिर्फ ये खाता है, vegetables नहीं खाता, fruits नहीं खाता. It's not their fault, because जब हमें introduce करना होता है at 6 months of age, we have not experimented. So experimenting doesn't mean that आपने morning में दलिया खिला दिया, afternoon में खिचड़ी खिला दिया, evening में आपने उसको दाल चावल खिला दिया. No, you'll have to introduce one single taste food. You'll have to continue for 3 to 5 days. Then if the child has started accepting it, then try to change over to another type of taste of food, right? Before discarding कि मेरा बच्चा ये नहीं खाता, you should have seen that you would have given the child at least for 10 to 12 times the same food before saying that मेरा child ये नहीं खाता है. Fine. Apart from introducing these complementary feed at 6 months of age, the next thing which you should also do is introduction of plain water. आपको पानी either in a cup or in a glass, you should always encouraging your child to drink water in a glass or in a cup, and also the same goes for milk also. And next, coming to how to feed, like we had left a discussion in between. So your child should be in a happy mood. You should be having lot of patience while starting. Do not force feed the child. You should not should not threaten the child that अगर आप ये नहीं खाओगे तो मैं आपको मारूंगी, you will be giving some punishment to the child, and never give any temptation to the child also. कि अगर आपने ये खा लिया, if you have started accepting the feed, then only I will give you a chocolate or you will be allowed to watch TV. No. So it should be responsive feeding, talk and interact with the child. And the next most important thing is, do not keep any distractions while feeding the child. The TV, the mobile, the YouTube channels, lot of discussions going on here and there. It should not happen. Only the caretaker, the mother or anybody who's feeding the child should be interacting with the child while feeding. Let the child enjoy the taste, the texture of the food which we are giving, right? The next most important thing is when suppose you are starting feed between 6 to 8 months. At that time, as we have explained, that 2 to 3 spoons each time for 3 times a day, increase the quantity to half katori, and by the end of 8 months, it should be 3/4 of a katori. During the phase of 9 to 11 months, apart from the usual bowl which you are giving, there should be a family time. That is family pot feeding. What is that? So whenever you are sitting to feed, that is you family, whole of the family are having some kind of meal, you should have a separate plate for the child. In that separate plate, you should provide the paste, the puree form that you have made for the child along with the spoon. Let the child become messy. In that way, the child will learn. Do not criticize the child for being messy. You should always praise the child, and you should encourage the child to feed him or herself by self. So you should encourage your child for finger feeds also, right? Now, these things that we have described or discussed currently, this is called responsive feeding, and ensuring food hygiene is very important. Apart from the complementary feeding, which we have discussed from 6 months to 12 months and later till 24 months, breastfeeding should also be continued. Now, why is it so? As we have discussed, breastfeeding do provide certain percentage of calorie and micronutrients. Like apart from complementary feed, 40 to 50% of the energy is supplied by the breastfeeding. So we should continue. 50 to 60% of vitamin A, calcium, and other micronutrients are supplied by the breast milk. The liquid content of the breast milk is very important for maintaining hydration and growth of the child, and the immunity factors are also transferred by the breast milk. Now, whether or how to feed a child when the child is suffering from illness. If the child is suffering from illness, you continue his or her formula or breastfeed, whichever milk product on which the child is. You encourage the child to feed regularly, and the food which the child likes, that you should continue. In the recovery phase also, you should continue the complementary and the breastfeeding. But in the recovery phase, you should increase the amount and the quantity or the servings of the complementary feeding so that the catch-up growth can occur. Right. Now, already we have discussed the foods that are not good for your health of your baby. Certain tips, like whenever you are introducing during the time of immunization, also when you are going or visiting a pediatrician, the growth record has been maintained. It is very important that when you are introducing complementary feed, the personal health record of the child should be maintained. That is, the weight, length, and growth parameters are always recorded. And monitoring for anemia is also going on, so that supplementation of iron that should be given, that should be continued. Vitamin D supplementation till 1 year of age should be continued. Next is when the teeth are have started appearing, in oral hygiene, because when you are giving, like hum log bhi khana khate hain, we should maintain oral hygiene. Otherwise, the complementary or the homemade food which you are giving, they're very sticky, that can cause dental caries. So oral hygiene is very much important. Next is you should always keep a track on the potty, like the stooling pattern. The stooling pattern is as such because when we are introducing the solid food, the stooling pattern will also change from yellow fluffy type stools to, it might change to green, somewhat more solid pattern of stool will start appearing. So no need to panic for that. If at all you are having any issues in the stooling pattern, you should always consult a pediatrician. So at the end of this discussion, summarizing and the take home messages are, like, we should start complementary feed as soon as the 6 months have been completed. The texture will vary from pureed form from 6 to 8 months, then to mushy form till 12 months, and beyond 12 months, chopped forms can be given. The servings can be increased from 2 to 3 spoons to 3/4 of katori by the end of 8 months. Full katori, 3 bowls, 3 times a day with 2 snacks till from 9 months to 12 months. As much months of age, oral hygiene should be maintained. Then no bottle feeding, and the children should be encouraged to self-feed and to take milk and water from cup. No need to give any bottles or something. No aerated drinks, no tea, coffee, no fruit juices. If you're giving fruit juices, do not strain. And responsive feeding should be given. The children should not be threatened giving any lalach that you'll be giving a toffee or a chocolate, or should not have any distraction while feeding them. And during illnesses and recovery phases also, you need to give them adequate. All any questions are there, I would be happy to take up your questions. So yes, my baby is 8 months. Should I start solid foods? As we have already discussed, today's topic was when to start solid foods. Yes, of course, you should start solid food at the end of 6 months only. So by 8 months of age, you should have started, and by this time, your child should be accepting, 3/4 of a katori. So if I'm not started, then the method remains the same only. You'll have to start with food, solid food in the pureed form. Start with 2 to 3 spoons 3 times a day. Then you can gradually increase over 15 days to half katori. Then by the end of 1 month, up to 3/4 of a katori. So what solids I can give to my 9-month-old? We have had a vivid discussion on that. You can give dalia, you can give khichdi, you can give all the homemade foods which are being made for you without adding any spices in a pureed form. You can give suji ka halwa for that, mashed banana, you can give curd rice to them, all the pureed form of fruits that are available. The breast milk, your baby will gradually decrease. Purees you can give, and at 10 months of age, finger food you will have to start. So as we have discussed, the texture can be changed from pureed form to mashy form. And boiled potato wedges and carrot wedges, boiled beans, boiled broccoli, finger foods can be started at 10 months of age. How often to feed a 8-month-old child? So an 8-month-old child can be fed, as we have discussed, 3 complete meals. At the end of 8 months, up to 3/4 of a katori, 3 meals. Fruit, mashed banana or mashed papaya, any locally available food you are having. And when your child has entered into a 9 months, then you can shift gradually from 3/4 of a katori to slightly increase, and by the end of 9 months, we should be taking 3 bowls complete meal. Apart from that, 1 snack in the evening. Plus breast milk you will have to continue. Now, a 9-month-old baby only licks the solid food. Solid food means what? Actually, as if you're only starting at 9 months of age, finger foods are. It is the same only. You will start with the pureed form. Any particular taste. Suppose you have started with dalia, start with dalia for 3 to 5 days. ऐसा नहीं है कि today you have given dalia, tomorrow khichdi, then day after tomorrow suji ka kheer, your child is not going to accept, because from 6 months of age they are not exposed to any kind of taste. They are going to develop the taste. So you'll have to make or help them or assist them in the development of the taste. So you will have to give each kind of taste for 3 to 5 days. Acceptance is there. Then switch over to another taste like khichdi, or mashed potato, or mashed sweet potato, or mashed mixed vegetables in the pureed form. So gradually you will have to introduce, right? So as we are ending our session, I have already discussed the take-home messages. So early initiation of breastfeeding and exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months of age, and after completion of 6 months, we should always start timely starting, complementary feed, and breastfeeding should be continued till 2 years of age along with a complementary feed. We have discussed how to start complementary feed, how to transition the texture, how to transition the quantity, like till 8 months of age, 3/4 katori, then the full katori, 3 bowls and 2 meals. Beyond 12 months, introduction of more food should be given, right? And supplements should be given, iron and vitamin D should be continued, immunization should be continued, growth parameters should be checked regularly, oral hygiene should be maintained, and notified with very hygienic technique. And yes, we are ending the session. I'm Dr. Bijaylaxmi. Kindly follow me on BabyChakra. I would be happy to solve all your doubts. Thank you.